Hi there, Jeff here from the Wetsuit Centre, talking to you today about the Xcel Axis summer wetsuit for 2014. The Xcel Axis being the mid-range wetsuit from Xcel for their summer range for 2014. The primary selling benefits of this wetsuit, as I said before, not too expensive but still a full stretch wetsuit. So entire, from top to bottom, all of the neoprene is the ultra stretch neoprene, which is Xcel's sort of highest grade, really flexible neoprene. Unlike the Infinity Comp and some of the more performance-minded wetsuits, this suit does contain the smooth skin mesh on the front, so a few more seams, but that does add a lot of warmth there, and it has a thermal lining front and back as well, so a bit more warmth with this wetsuit, so it's a good balance between performance, so flexibility with the full stretch, but then also get the wind-resistant smooth skin on the front and around the back, and you get the thermal lining on the chest and back as well, which I'll show you once we turn the suit inside out. So the key sort of benefits of this suit then, the chest zip. The chest entry is kind of down to preference, but the chest zip wetsuits are kind of getting a reputation a bit better at keeping water out of the wetsuit, because you've got an unbroken seal around the collar, you don't have a back zip running through it, which allows it to create a better seal around your neck and prevent as many flush throughs. And also it gets rid of the need of a zip across the back of the wetsuit. Obviously if you have a zip running down the back of the wetsuit, then it does sort of interfere with the stretch through the back panel. Okay, which is essential for surfing and that kind of thing. Downsides are that it is a bit harder to get in and out of, especially with the heavier weight wetsuits. But this is a summer wetsuit, so it's really not too much of a chore, and it's especially easy once you get used to it. So the summer weight is 3-2 basically. So 3 mil of neoprene on the lower body, where you need a bit more warmth and less movement, and then 2 mil on the upper body, where you need a bit more flexibility running through the suit, and it's a bit more dynamic movement. Okay, so that's the kind of principle of the suit. Full stretch wetsuit, which is still going to keep you warm, and you're going to be able to wear this quite a few months of the year, and it will be especially good in the sort of summer in the UK, because there are some days where it is still quite chilly with northerly winds blowing. So yeah, the suit itself is kind of minimal panels as it can be, with the smooth skin mesh and the thermal lining in the middle. They use large pieces of neoprene to prevent too many seams, which obviously increases restriction in the wetsuit. But any seams that are placed onto the wetsuit are pre-bent to make sure that they match the sort of contours of the human body and don't impede the flexibility of the wetsuit at all. And you can see that by the way that the seams are kind of dipped around the lumbar region, around the back of the chest panel, and around the front of the chest panel. They're arced as well, just to make sure there's no sort of interference with stretch. Okay, and one nice thing with the chest zip as well, the chest zip is actually kind of sewn over the top of the wetsuit with this particular suit. So once you actually open it up, the inside of the suit comes up nice and high. The chest zip goes up over the top. There's a nice smooth lining on the inside of the collar there, and basically that means that it creates a good bond with your skin, and any water that does flush in through the neck or come in through the side of the chest zip is actually met with the inside of the wetsuit, and then that water is drained back out the side of the suit and not into the wetsuit itself. So that's the way the sort of the X2 chest entry system works, and it's really effective at keeping water out of the wetsuit, and also creating a good seal around your neck and preventing flush throughs. So all of that's kind of thought about. As I say, you've got the smooth collar, which prevents any sort of rashing and rubbing, but also creates a really good seal with your neck, and again, all designed to keep water out of the wetsuit. 100% hyper stretch, ultra stretch I should say, the whole way through. They're really soft and flexible. The seams are all glued and blind stitched, so stitched halfway through, and then on the inside of the wetsuit they're then glued and then double stitched as well, just so that the sort of the punch holes on the stitching don't go the whole way through the suit. Okay, so the idea being that the water doesn't go in through the seams, and it keeps water out of the suit for longer. This is one of the only suits that's actually kind of like got that double stitching on inside and out, which is really sort of good at giving the suit a bit more shelf life. So it's quite a unique sort of stitching to Xcel, and it's very good at sort of giving the suit a bit more durability and keeping it nice and robust, but still maintaining that kind of seal within the wetsuit. Moving further down the suit, you've got the standard sort of Crypto or Duraflex knee pads. They're quite small on the Xcel suits. The idea they just really lock around your kneecap, and they don't wear through on the knees over time. It gives again the sort of longer shelf life and a bit more durability to the suit. So you get more for your money basically. Okay. If I turn the suit inside out, then you can have a little look on the inside. The only thing that's worth mentioning on the outside of the suit as well is just this sort of smooth skin mesh on the front and around the back. That's sort of specially designed. Well, it's just basically the top layer when they make a block of neoprene. This is kind of like the crust, but it's really, really effective at keeping wind out of the wetsuit. So if you do get sort of a breezy day, it's good at keeping your sort of core warmer, which essentially should keep you in the water for longer as well, which is really, really sort of useful in cold water countries like the UK. So if we turn the suit inside out, you see another one of the sort of primary selling benefits of the suit is the quick dry polypro, which is this sort of blue material starting to see emerge. Now you get a lot of this, you get it the whole way through the suit with the top end suits, you know, like the Infinity and the Infinity Comp. But with this suit you get it in the sort of key areas where you need it, so the core, around the chest and around the kidneys. And basically the idea of this polypro, it dries really, really quickly, so it dries within like 15 minutes. It's non-absorbent, so wicks water away. So when you put the suit back on, it's nice to have a dry sort of chest panel and around the back as well. It's just a bit more pleasant to put the suit back on. But one of the sort of key other benefits is that sort of polypro material, come nice and close so you can see there. And basically it's very densely woven, non-absorbent fabric, which as I say, doesn't absorb water, wicks water away from the body, but also is great at retaining heat inside the wetsuit. So instead of the heat being lost slowly through the neoprene, this material does a bit of a better job to retain that heat inside around your core and keep you warmer for longer. You've got some of this sort of critical taping around the patch joints of the suit. All that kind of thing is really important, just again to make the suit more robust, make sure it doesn't fall apart. And all of this black material is essentially the sort of ultra stretch neoprene the whole way through the wetsuit. As I mentioned before, that sort of double stitching, that does run some of the way through the suit, and I guess one thing I'm noticing as I turn the suit inside out, it's primarily just around the sort of like the vulnerable areas, so around the cuff of the wrist, around the top of the chest panel, around the whole of the chest panel actually, and around the lower part of the leg, and then it goes into the more traditional sort of glued and blind stitching. So I'm noticing that as I turn the suit inside out. So you do get that double stitching, but only in the key areas, and I guess that's just to make sure that those punch holes don't go the whole way through and make the suit leak. So with the suit back right way around, there's pretty much everything going on with the Xcel Axis. A suit I would recommend for people that don't want to spend a crazy amount of money but want a good quality full stretch wetsuit, but it's also going to keep them nice and warm, so good balance between warmth and flexibility, then this is definitely the suit for you. And Xcel obviously have a fantastic reputation in creating durable, comfortable, warm wetsuits. And with good reason, you know, they don't change too much year on year, they just sort of tweak here and there as new technology comes about. But the Xcel Axis is definitely a recommendation from the Wetsuit Centre.